Yo. So this is part two of my land guide. So part one was mostly a skill rundown explanation where I went through all the skills and explained what they do. I think we saw some mobility and combos and stuff. Part two will be mostly about setup because I realized that you could be doing most of these things well, but if you don't understand how to set up your character, you will still have a lot of issues. And part three which I will do after tomorrow, because tomorrow we're getting some changes on special evasion protections. Uh, we're getting an extra CC and stuff like that on LAN. The next part will be about how to approach a fight, what your role is, how I play fights, at least myself, and stuff like that. So yeah, this one's gonna be about add-ons, sequences of skills. The idea mostly, not what I run, because I could give you what I run, and then a couple days later I change it because I decided I find value in something else. So I will just show you what I run. Sorry, I will just like explain completely from the start my thought process when I build these things. I mean, I'll also show you what I run, of course. Also how to build your crystals, artifacts, gear, stuff like that. All right, so add-ons. Yeah, add-ons. Pretty simple. Pretty simple idea here. Pretty simple idea here. So these add-ons are things that, or like their effects on your skills beyond what the skill has, some extra effect, and they apply once you hit someone. So let's say, for example, I have on my bleeding hearts, I have some add-ons. I'll do bleeding hearts. I don't hit anything. I don't get any add-ons. If I hit a target though, if I hit a target, I do get my add-ons. You see? All right. So the whole okay, another thing to note is that if you have a debuff on your add-ons, for example, here I have slow and movement speed. So sorry, a movement speed slow and attack speed slow. If this target is in frontal guard, obviously the dumb is not in frontal guard, they will not get the debuffs. So keep that in mind as well. Important to know. All right, so ignore what I'm running right now. I will first explain the priority I think of when I am building my add-ons from scratch and what I pick. So first of all, I think of how my combo plays out. So my combo right now, the combo I like to do the most is I do grab, bleeding, taunting, BMT mangler, deadly dance, eradication one hit, tailspin vice, binding chains, full or two hit, and run away. Sometimes it resets, sometimes it doesn't, depends on your down smashes. So again, if I was a bit fast for you, I do NCC basically. So I'm not telling you to do this combo. I'm saying this is the combo I do, and this is why I build my add-ons this way. But yeah, so NCC doesn't matter really what you do. You do bleeding always, taunting always, and then as you see, taunting actually has 6 hits, which is insane. Because they changed how many hits there are on skills. Taunting has a really. You see how it keeps swinging? It has a really long animation if you cast the whole thing. So you can cast the whole thing if you get a KD, because KDs last longer. But if you get a bound, you will mostly get like boom, boom, and then that was too long, for example. I kind of fucked that up. But you get like 1, 2 swings. Yeah, so like 1, 2 swings, and then you have to do into BMT Mangler. So yeah, so your first skill is Bleeding Hearts, Taunting Death, 2 hits only, not the whole skill. So it's like 1, 2, and then BMT. Yeah, so Bleeding, Taunting, BMT. If you hold down F, it will automatically go into Mangler. You want to make sure you cast full Mangler because the skill does so much damage. And then you're going to do Spin, Deadly Dance, 1 hit Eradication, so just this without the jump. Tailspin Vice, Binding Chains, and then 2 hits of Furor. So let me show that again one more time. So grab, bleeding, taunting, bam, boom, boom, full mangler, something like this. All right. And if you see a lot of buffs are popping up because that's all my add-ons popping after I do the combo. Alright, so first thing, the most important. Regardless of your combo, you have to go and check how much crit rate you have. So crit rate is super important because it makes your skills crit. I know, it's crazy. And you want to have 100% as often as possible. So on lahn, because you don't have a self buff like this, for example, some classes have some skill where it gives them crit, like lahn gets attack speed, but you don't have crit rate on lahn on some skill. So the only way to get crit then is your stat page, where you can get 18 at level 5, let's say 20, and then whatever the skill has. So here in Bleeding Heart's case, that's 25, and then your add-on for 30. So if you notice, if you do the math, if you have 25% or anything below 50 basically, so if it's 50, you get the add-on that's 80, you get your stat page 98, because 18 plus 30 plus 50, 98%. But anything that has less than 50% on the skill, for example, Bleeding Hearts, 25, there is no way for you to get this at 100% crit. There is no way. Except if you get a buff from a different player. But by yourself, you cannot get this to 100% crit rate. So it is super important to look at your skills and the skills that you use in the beginning of the combo, because the critical rate is the most damage increasing stat, and see if you would need to run a critical rate add-on. In my case, I do. So I run a critical hit rate on my first skill, because it doesn't have 100% hit rate. But if, for example, you started your combo with Tailspin Vice, these have 100% crit rate, both. So in this case, you would skip the crit rate and go straight into your other add-ons. So number one, critical hit rate. I think I made it clear what it does and how you should build. Another thing to note is that if multiple skills have critical rate lower than 50, or lower than 100, it kind of forces you into playing into some sequences, let's say. So my Taunting Death, for example, regardless of the combo now, has 50% critical hit rate. I didn't put add-on here because I put my add-on here. So I would either need to spend another critical add-on on this, or play in a way where I'm smart with it. So for example, I want to do some trading in a fight, not necessarily a combo. I'll go here, do my bleeding, and then my taunting. This way, taunting benefits from the critical hit rate and whatever else add-ons I have here. And I don't have to spend another critical rate add-on on taunting. So you'll see very often I do bleeding into taunting, so my taunting crits as well. Otherwise, you can spec your add-ons differently, so your taunting has another critical add-on. Depends on you. Right, okay, so another very important thing for combos is that you want to debuff your target with either minus evasion or minus DP. Minus DP being the most common, earliest in the combo. And again, let's just say that first. So again, for my combo, Bleeding Hearts is the first skill. This right now I have some critical rate and accuracy. In the case I'm fighting a DR player, or to be honest, in most circumstances, man, are you serious? I don't have a fucking book. Well, anyway, you would want to run a crit rate and a minus DP. Yeah, a crit rate and a minus DP. Let me see actually if I have a preset here where I do run that, because I'm pretty sure I have to wait 50 seconds. Well, anyway, we'll change that later. So minus DP early in the combo. As you see, the skill itself has minus 20 DP. And if I had my add-on, that would be minus 40 total, because the add-on removes another 20 DP. So first, the most important, crit rate and DP, minus DP, or evasion, And then second, you want to run your human damage and attack speed. Or here, at the same importance, you could run your accuracy and minus evasion. So right now I'm running my attack speed and human damage, my attack speed and minus evasion. But here you could run something like attack speed and human damage, which is probably what I run on my other preset. And as you see, the skill itself also has the plus 18 AP. So me, just by casting Bleeding Taunting, I debuff the target by 40 DP, if I have my proper add-ons, and I buff myself for I think human damage is 15, so plus 16, that's 21 AP. So on the first two skills, I've given myself 21 AP and reduced the guy's DP by 40, which is an insanely strong starter point. So my skills after that can just do damage on a target that has a lower DR, with me having the most AP I can have. So yeah, I will actually just bring out a notepad, explain it a bit better here. So like, if you have to put them in sequence, first be crit rate, then minus DP, then plus AP, then you would run, you know, your attack speed, and then minus evasion or plus accuracy, or both, you know. This is the order. So these you can basically skip if you're fighting somebody who's DR, and you can put something like plus down attack and crit damage. So instead of crit rate, crit damage. Let me see if I have any, so I show you what it looks like. This is rate. Yeah, so crit hit damage and down attack damage. These two are really decent options, but for later on. You see, the importance goes down as the scale goes down. And then the least damage is, you know, from like a bleed you can put on, or, you know, down smash add-ons are also pretty shit. So avoid running those. So another super important thing that I would put in importance like super high up is a plus DP add-on. So I would run a plus DP add-on on a skill like, can I change it? Yeah, so for example, yeah, see, I knew I would have it. So on my Shift F eradication, I take a core on that skill. This is a skill that you basically spam to move and to get CCs. This I gave myself a plus 20 DP, and this is insanely strong. You should have a skill on your class where you have a plus 20 DP always. Always. Because this is equivalent, if you think about it, well, if you exclude whatever DP brackets you gain, this is pretty much a Pencadry that you're equipping, just with an add-on. And in eradication, if this skill has 5-second cooldown, the add-on lasts for 10 seconds. So you could have it permanently, even if you didn't spam the skill. So make sure you have one of those regardless of like how tanky you are, because you pay one add-on slot for like an insane amount of stat increase. So yeah, very smart to have DP add-on on mobility / catch skill, you know. Another thing is debuffs, as I said. So debuffs I would put below DP add-ons on mobility. So debuffs like, for example, right here I am running minus attacks and movement speed on morning dew. So this is kind of strong on lahn because you have like this insane range where you can apply a debuff even though it's small. It could, you know, be annoying to people, you know. It could be a bit annoying, but the value of this is really small, you know. So this is like the order you want to follow on your skills, and that way you will maximize your damage. And whatever, like these things, for example, here you could skip out on, and this also if you're not fighting somebody who's evasion. And you always want to have this, for example, yeah. And these you don't really have to. These are nice for increasing combo damage. Blitz down smashes are pretty whatever. DP add-on mobility, you must have it. Debuffs, kinda shit, not gonna lie. And another thing I would like to note, mostly for group fights now, that you want to have some add-ons on your trade skills. So this is something I will go more in depth with on the next video, on part 3. Is if there is a fight going on and I want to go in and I don't have time to do my fucking bleeding taunting to get crit AP and all that shit. If I want to go in and do super quick some damage, do eradication, tailspin vice, for example, and run out, I would put some add-ons on those as well. And I would put something like human damage and crit damage, because this again have 100% crit. And if the combo, or if the people are already on the floor and there's a fight going on, I wouldn't run a minus DP, because you would have to think that your two teammates would have the minus DP. So I would just go in, with my quick engage, do a tailspin vice, just human damage and crit damage, because these are already 100% crit. No minus DP, since they should probably already have it. And maybe some accuracy, I don't know. Something like that. That's the way I would think about it, you know? Because I would go down the list and I would think, critical hit rate, do I need this? No, it's 100% crit. Minus DP, do I need this? No, they're on the floor already. My teammates have most likely applied this. Plus AP, always, I don't have this on. I didn't cast my taunting, so I need this. Attack speed, maybe. You know, accuracy evasion, if minus evasion, probably not. You know, my teammates might have applied this. Plus accuracy, probably. Crit damage, always nice. Down attack, maybe. Bleed down smash, these are kind of meh. I wouldn't really run them. And yeah, so this is my thought process behind my add-ons, and I make different pages depending on what content I do. All right. So next thing, I'm gonna go quickly over, so like build and crystals. So build, man. I mean, me personally, I don't really run defensive, defensive. How do you call them? Accessories. I run DR as of now. And this means that I want to have almost, no, I want to have always 3 debos and then 5 debos sometimes when I'm not using accuracy. And then I have 1 flex slot. On your flex slot, you could have whatever you want. I choose to have a tieback because I feel like, you know, if this was a debo and I had a disto, that would be like, I just find more value in the tieback. If I have 5 debo and what, I don't want to have a cadre ever. There's just no other good options, man. And if I want to have the accuracy, I would just run my 2 accuracy accessories and tieback. And that's again, you know, 3 debo, fair AP, and I still keep my tieback. So I don't really see much value in having 5 debo and then not a tieback. I feel like the tieback value is more than the debos. Or like, sorry, a 6th accessory. Could be a disto, a narc, a cadre. What else? I just don't feel like those are giving me any good value. I don't want to run a centaur or anything. Even if I was on evasion, I feel like they're going to give me many stats. So that's how I build. Yeah. Okay, so for artifacts, I want to show 2 of them that I find myself using the most. So first one is human damage. So I have here 2 melee AP artifacts with the human damage set. Then I have this I use most of the time because the extra damage is nice. If the target, if you're in a 1v1 or you kill the enemy target regardless, if you get a CC, you know the guy's gonna die. You benefit a lot from having those specific DR crystals or artifacts, I guess. So this one, for example, gives you melee DR and 4 iron wall gives you the extra DR. So in this case, that's like a lot of DR against a melee class. Like let's say a squishy ninja, a squishy, maybe another squishy lahn. This gives you insane value if you already killed the person. So you don't die standing, or you know, you just get better value than extra AP if you already killed the guy. And then again, a Sork or DK, something that you can instantly kill, so you get some magic DR instead. And for group fights, because you don't actually benefit from these specific DRs that much, if you feel like your damage is already good, you can run something like this. So this is like not so popular, but I think it has it makes a point where you're running the AP artifact and then you're running DR Lightstones. And here you get the tankiness, but because you wouldn't benefit from the specific DR, you know, in a group fight I'm assuming there's different damage types, you run the AP. But again, you know, me myself, I would probably run the human damage instead of the DP. But yeah, depends how you feel. Depends how you feel. What I'm trying to say is that, you know, don't go into a group fight with a melee DR. This is troll. Because even if there's one magic target, it's most likely gonna be blasting you, and you get 0 benefit from these against them from your artifacts against the magic target. So this is like, I would not run this in a group fight. Run the APDR. This. Because I also don't think the all DR is like that good. I think the all DR is kind of meh, where you run all damage reduction and iron walls again. So accuracy, melee accuracy, 4 marked. Don't run the minus DP. The minus DP is full trash, full trash. A lot of people forget that high evasion targets have low AP as well, so you actually get a lot of benefit from having a little higher DR. So really don't give up all your DP if you're fighting somebody who's evasion, because they actually have low AP as well. So you'll probably get a lot of increase in stats if you just keep your, little bit of tankiness. But that's, I think, everything for the artifacts. The rest are PvE options, whatever. Alright, so quick one, we're gonna check the crystals, and I think that's it. So crystals, this is my standard page, and I make changes on this depending on what I'm fighting. So the idea is that I'm running the minimum most effective tankiness, which right now is the 2 special evasion, 2 bitterness, hentai tier. These are basically really good value stats. The special evasion things are getting removed next patch, so I don't know if this will stay relevant, but if this give like 1000 health each or 800, it's like super good value, so you would still want to run these at least. But the point I'm trying to make is I wouldn't run Hums under any circumstance right now, because you really do need the damage and the ignore res. So I would run the 12 cars standard. I would run 1 grab, 1 KD ignore. Maybe, I would run 2 grab, sometimes maybe 2 KD. Also, I want to say, don't cheap out. Get the Jin version. The few AP does add up, And this is not a PvE crystal where you would die to mobs and lose it. You're not grinding with this. So do spend the extra money and get the Jin version. And then your damage here at the bottom, you almost always want to be running these crystals here. And these are 2 red vipers, 2 red spirits crystals. These are 100 health, 5 AP. These are actually really strong, even better than viper, because 5 AP, 5 AP, and then the 100 health is really nice. Corrupted, because they're good. Arguably, if somebody has super high special evasion, these are kind of shit. But I would run them most of the time, because they also give you a bit of extra AP. Special evasion is probably getting removed next patch, so whatever, run these. And then, I run my ignore resist, because your CCs won't hit if you don't have ignore resist. And then here you have a flex slot. You could run some extra ignore, you could run some resist, you could run some extra damage, just how you feel. I will probably run some KD ignore, yeah? Well, I have a bit too many now, I'll run a grab, a KD and a KD. If I feel like I'm one-shotting someone, if I'm fighting a Sork and the guy is getting one shot, I will swap out these and run 4 homes, yeah? And run 4 homes. Yeah? If I am fighting somebody who is super tanky, like a Valk, I will put this back on and my corrupted. And unfortunately, although this is like a terrible trade, I will remove my bitterness first, put in the Karmaya, see if now I can kill them. If I still cannot kill them, I will remove 1, 2, 3, 4. So my 1 resist, my special evasion, my hentai tier, and I will run 4 Makalos. Yeah. This is basically the maximum ignore and damage you can have. And you do really want the ignore when you're fighting tanky classes, because if you pay attention, Homes, Dark Fangs, all these defensive crystals give you resistances as well. So people that build tankiness just build resistance but because it just comes with it. So you do really want to have the ignore res and the AP. So if you're running this would be your max damage. But the value set, the one I run the most, it's what I showed before. So I'll show one more time. So that would be my 2 bitterness here, my hentai tier, double special leva, and then I would run an ignore because I feel like my damage is really decent. Maybe you will run around a Karmaya. Maybe you want to run some resist. If you find someone, if you're fighting somebody who's only grabbing you, you can run, you know, a grapple resist, and you know that will give you a lot more tankiness. You know, if you don't get CC'd at all, you don't take any damage most of the time. So if you find value in a resist crystal, you can run that. Me personally, I just run some ignore. This will be my standard page. I think that's it. I think that's it. Next part, I'm gonna talk about group fights, how to approach a fight and stuff like that. But for now, you know, if you so part one, we saw what skills do. If you know what your skills do, if you have the right setup, if you know how to move, if you know a decent combo, you can already perform at an okay level. So next part is going to be a little more advanced about some, you know, theory on how to approach the fight, how I look at fights, at least in Solaire or in open world, and yeah, we'll check that out. All right, that's it. A boom.